everybody, Dr. Nelson here. This is an interactive video lesson about tree diagrams. So what's going to happen is you're going to take notes with me on this first page, and then you have a chance to pause the video and try a problem on your own, and then at the end you can see how you did. All right? So what exactly is a tree diagram? So here's a really simple definition to write down. A tree diagram, right, displays all the possible outcomes of an event. So we can say a tree diagram displays all the possible outcomes of an event. All right, so there's the definition. So let me show you. All right, so here's the situation. It says a student picks one of the following cards and then flips a coin, okay? Create a tree diagram representing all of the scenarios, all right? So again, here's the situation. The student is picking one of these three cards randomly, okay? And then they flip the coin and it lands on either heads or tails, okay? So let's first focus on the three cards, all right? So the student, again, reaches into a bag or a box, right? And they have a choice of picking either card 1, card 2, or card 3. So I'm going to put a 1 here, a 2 here, and a 3 here. So this is like our first branch of our tree diagram, all right? But then what happens is, okay, the student flips a coin, okay? And the coin can land on either heads or tails. So what could happen is the student could pick card 1 and then land on heads, right? So I'm going to draw a branch here and put an H for heads. But they could also land on tails. So I'm going to put a T for tails. Now the student could also draw card 2 and then get a heads. And then draw card 2 and get tails, right? That's an option. Or they could pick card 3 and then flip the coin and get a heads. Or they could pick card 3, flip a coin, and get a tails. All right. So this tree diagram shows all the possible combinations. So I'm going to make a list here. It could be 1 in heads, right? So it could be a 1 and then a heads. That's one possibility. It could also be a 1 and a tails. That's another possibility. It could be a 2 and then a heads. It could be a 2 and a tails. It could be a 3 and a heads. And then finally it could be 3 and a tails. So altogether there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different possibilities, right? So I'm going to write the number 6 over here, okay? So the question is, what's the probability of drawing a 2 and then a heads, right? So I'm going to use different color because I can. So the question is, what's the probability of this event right here happening, a 2 and then heads? So that answer would be just, there's only one way. I have 6 total possible combinations. So it'll be 1/6. So a tree diagram is a really nice way to kind of visually show or visually display all the different outcomes of an event. All right. So what I want you to do now is I want you to pause the video and try the your turn now problem. And then when you're done, hit play. You can see how you did. All right. Good luck. Hey everybody, welcome back. All right, so the problem says a student spins the spinner 2 times. Create a tree diagram displaying all the possibilities. So that's exactly what I did. So notice the first line up here, we have red, green, and blue. So that's spin number 1, okay? And then down here is spin number 2. So we could have gotten a red and then a red, right? A red and a green and a blue, and then a green and a red, a green and a green, a green and a blue, and then a blue and a red, a blue and a green, and a blue and a blue, all right? So altogether, there's actually 9 different outcomes that could have happened, okay, with this experiment. But the question says, what is the probability of landing on a red and then a blue, okay? So right here, so our first probability, here's the red, and then there's the blue, right? So this is what they're looking for right here. So that probability, there's only one chance of that happening, right? Because there's the red, that's the first spin, okay? And down here's the blue for the second spin. So there's only a 1 in 9 chance of that happening, which is a fairly unlikely event. All right, how'd you do?